because without a fighting force, and that's how I look at you folks, you're my fighting force. Without a fighting force, I could not get this done. You know, when I took on this issue of people being able to defend themselves and to encourage that and tell people that it was a duty, you have a duty and a responsibility to defend yourselves and your families. It put me in the crosshairs of the anti-gun bigots and zealots all across America, and I had to reach out to people to take on that fight, because I'll tell you what, the anti-gun movement is strong, they're relentless, they're never going away. This fight for our freedom, and I just want to be a foot soldier in the fight for freedom. I know, you know, I meet many great people all across this country, and you all tell me about how much I inspire you. Well, I want to tell you how much you inspire me, because in this tough fight, I'm human, and every once in a while, it can get to you, and you start asking yourself, you know, is this worth it anymore? And I don't mean to fight for freedom, but I mean carrying on this burden on my shoulders, and then I meet good patriots, good Americans like yourselves, and I go, yeah, it is worth it. Every day is worth it. Now, you know, I want to share a short story here about Steven Crowder. And I was introduced to him in a kind of a weird way, if you will. I mean, I knew him once I heard the name, but you know, I don't watch a lot of TV, so I don't pay that much attention. But I knew he was associated with CRTV and Mark Levin, who's been a great friend, and Michelle Malkin, who's been a great friend. And my public information officer received several calls from his folks and his producer, and hey, they want to have you on, do a Skype interview, and you know, I get inundated with this stuff, so I'm kind of choosy, and she wouldn't let it go. Fran McLaughlin, my public information officer, said, you got to go on with this guy. This guy is huge. This guy's a big deal. So I said, okay, I'll do it. So we're setting up, and I'm, you know, when I get ready for TV, I put on my game face, right? And I go in with that, look like I'm going to kill somebody. Sometimes I want to do. So I get ready, I get my uniform on, and sitting there, we're setting up, and I'm ready for a serious interview, not knowing how much comedy this guy brings, right? So I'm thinking this is going to be a serious interview about some of the things going on. And so I'm sitting there, and first of all, the show starts, and all of a sudden, Crowder starts breaking into a dance with the music to introduce the show, and I said, what the F is this? I'm thinking this is going to be a serious, you know, like Sean Hannity or one of the other TV shows. And so he starts asking me a few serious questions, talking about my book. Thanks for all of you that have bought the book, Cop Under Fire, I appreciate that. But so he starts me out asking for serious questions, and so I'm thinking, well, maybe this is going to be okay, and then he starts interjecting his humor in between, and again, I'm looking at my public information officer who's sitting on the other side of the Skype camera. I'm looking at her like, I'm going to kill you. I'm like, this ain't my deal, man. I'm not a funny guy. But anyway, we got through the interview. It was kind of cool. It really was. And then I ran into his producer this afternoon. He said, hey, we'd like to have you on again. And I mumbled to myself, like hell. But that was cool. You know, I get asked a lot what my favorite gun is. I own a number of models, a number of caliber guns, handguns, some semi-automatic rifles, an M&P-15, AR-15, and a Nemo Arms. Semi-automatic rifle. I own a bunch of handguns, Clarke, H&K, Smith & Wesson. I got a 1911, 40 caliber, some 9mm. And people ask me all the time, you know, Sheriff, what's your favorite gun? You know, if you know me, if you don't know me, I like to keep things simple. I really do. That's the way I approach life. A lot of this stuff's not that difficult, and so my answer is, it's always the same. When I get asked, what's your favorite gun, I said, the one that fires when I pull the trigger. Because I'll tell you, when you need that gun, it's gotta be reliable. It has to be reliable. I also have a couple of revolvers too. I got a Colt 357 stainless 6-inch barrel. Man, that gun's cool. That gun will take down a bear. But I want to introduce quickly somebody here tonight, a guy who has helped me along the way. And he doesn't get the headlines that he should. He's known in the firearm world, but he does the research. He does the kind of the grunt work. You know, he doesn't do the sexy stuff. But I'll tell you what, he's been invaluable to me when you're taking on the left to have my data, my research together, and it's John Lott. John Lott. And I want to close with this. I want to remind you, and I'm preaching to the choir, that's why I like these groups. I love Texas. Oh, I love Texas. Texas, give it up. I was talking to my wife the other day. I was down in the stockyards, and so I gave her a call, and she's been down here with me. I've been to Fort Worth like 3 times in the last 6 months. We love it here, but I called and I said, you know what, honey? I said, when this is all said and done, I said, I'm moving to Texas. To which she responded, oh yeah, who are you gonna live with? So I got some work to do on that end. Thanks a lot. But as you all know, rights not exercised will go away. And that's the importance of these grassroots organizations. That's the importance of being organized like you are. And all these gun owner groups, because this right is constantly under assault. And like I said, there'll be no finish line to defending this. It will never end. And you know what? No pun intended, we dodged a bullet last November with the election of Donald Trump. Supporter of gun rights and his nomination to the High Court, Neil Gorsuch, was a win. But the left's not going away. All right, don't forget, this is a razor-thin margin we have on the United States Supreme Court. I mean, I remember the shock. I was down in Mexico with my wife, we're on vacation. We walk into the room at the end of the night, and turn on the TV, and Fox News and flashes announcing the death of Antonin Scalia. And I remember my reaction. I said, you have got to be effing kidding me. It couldn't have come at a worse time, with the election of the president hanging in the balance. So now we have Neil Gorsuch. He's going to protect the Constitution. He's not going to guarantee anything, but he's going to interpret it the way the founders intended. He's an originalist. We're looking at a 5-4 margin. And as long as you have people like Sotomayor, as long as you have people like Ginsburg, Souter on this Supreme Court, and you take a guy like John Roberts, who has let us down more than once or twice, we're still not out of the woods yet. And as long as you have a guy like Stephen Breyer, Kennedy's that swing vote, but as long as you have a guy like Stephen Breyer on the Supreme Court, here's what Stephen Breyer thinks about the Second Amendment and what he thought about during the Heller decision and the McDonald decision. He said, the Second Amendment is not the right of an individual to keep a gun next to his bed. A United States Supreme Court justice said that. So when I heard that, I thought, well, we could fix that. That's why I keep 2 guns. Justice Breyer, I just took care of your belief that it doesn't mean we have an individual right to keep a gun next to our bed. And I'll tell you, and I do, I keep 2 under the bed. Here's why. Because if an intruder comes into my house, they both have 15 rounds. First of all, it's dark, I'm not gonna be able to see, but I'm just gonna let loose, right? And if I still hear motion, I don't wanna have to reload, I'll just pick up the other gun. Quicker response. My point with that is this. We cannot let our guard down. More than ever, we have to fight to keep the Second Amendment alive and all of the other Bill of Rights. The Constitution doesn't give us rights. God gave us those rights. To the federal government. That's all it did. It didn't grant us rights. I always like running into people who think they know the Constitution, some idiot on the left. He said, I know my rights. I said, oh, really? How many rights does the Constitution give you? 10 of them. I go, wrong. Those are God-given rights. The Constitution doesn't give you rights. The Constitution enumerates under the Bill of Rights, tells the government you will not mess with these. So, stay strong. Again, thank you for what you've done for me. You folks inspire me more than you will ever know. And as long as I have these platforms that I do, to be able to message this thing, and I know I have the fighting force of the USCCA and other gun owner groups, I know we're going to win this fight. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. May God bless you.